Okay, I got countdown. Looks like today's show is live. It's Terry's Political Rant show, week number 3. And this week's topic is doing more for free. And we usually try to keep these at about 15 minutes maximum. I don't like to rant for too long. But heck, we're talking about doing more for free. I mean, gosh, free has got to be the most abused word in the English language. Free this, free that, you see it all over the place. And it's one of those words that we really, really trigger to. Everybody picks up on that word when they hear it. If something's for free, it's just like there's something primal in us. We just can't miss it, Everybody goes and perks up their ears and reads and pays attention if the word free is in there. In fact, so much so that for a while, any email that had the word free in it would get sent to the spam bucket. And so I remember marketers kind of leaning over backwards to put asterisks in the middle of the two E's and do all kinds of little tricks to try to keep the spam filters from throwing their emails away because they used the word free. But heck, I mean, they were so desperate to use that word because it's such a powerful word, right? And I think it probably goes back to us being hunter-gatherers when everything literally was free. I mean, the earth provided. You just went out and found stuff that was provided by the earth, and that's what you ate and subsided off of. And your shelter was free. It was something that was usually already found, ready to go, or at least the materials were free to build that shelter, create a shelter. So yeah, free is really a big part of our basic makeup, I think. Is we kind of I don't know if we expect stuff to be free, but it's definitely ingrained in us that if something's free, it's seen as the major opportunity, and probably because that was what opportunity meant back in hunter-gatherer times, was here's something that's free. And we probably didn't even have a word for free. I don't know, unless it was for appreciation as an afterthought, since everything was free anyway. I mean, why do you make up a word to describe something that's just describing normal? But now that's not normal, ever since the first plow was developed and land ownership and selling stuff started becoming popular, and you had markets and whatnot, and trade, things have not been free, and we've had to have representations for stuff. So anyway, but still, that word free is big, and it's also part of a big political debate is how much should be free, especially if that's what's provided by the government, I mean, you have your safety nets for certainly, I feel, should be free things that if somebody's down and out, there should be some safety nets provided by society, partly by government, that help bail people out when they're in big trouble. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that's free from the government, Right now in my neck of the woods, we're having a big to-do that's probably going to go on for months and months about the raising the tolls and starting to charge a pretty hefty fee for some of the ferries that have been free, ferry boats. Like the Knott's Island ferry boat, that's the primary transportation for everybody that lives there to get to the mainland. They're talking about jacking it up to $7 and increasing the one to Ocracoke Island, it was $15. It was a major tourist income thing, right, for the state. Up to $25. From 15 to 25, we had a 66% increase, Anyway, oh yeah, but this used to be free, and I loved that one senator was bringing up how, ferry boats are like bridges. It's like charging for a bridge. It's the only way to get across this body of water. And so just as toll bridges kind of went out of vogue, he's arguing that toll ferries should go out of vogue too in the same way. But we get a lot of good stuff though from governments that's free, and of course, like I say, there's a constant debate on how much of it should be free and how much should be somehow used as a revenue source to be able to pay for other things that are already free that the government's providing, right? Because nothing's, you've all heard that line, nothing ultimately is free, but some things actually, they're free in a way. I mean, libraries have been the free library concept that was put down of course we've had libraries for thousands of years, we've had libraries, and great library at Alexandria and all these other libraries throughout history, the Roman libraries. But it didn't really become the big deal with the free library, the free lending library, until like Ben Franklin's time and stuff like that. And that idea is kind of a very good idea of getting information out there to people for free. And I'm going to get back to that in a bit. But still, the place you mostly hear the word free is from stores and marketers. And there are ways to kind of make us feel what's called reciprocity, where we get something for free. Now we kind of feel beholden to pay back and to have some loyalty to the people that gave us something for free. Oh, we got that free, we kind of owe you, And so you go back and you make a point to shop there again if you can, if you get the opportunity, or you need something and now you have a choice. The people that gave you something for free are the ones that are going to stick in your mind, and you're going to feel reciprocity and want to go back. And that's why you see so many internet marketers offer a free PDF booklet with chock full of really juicy information about a certain subject as kind of a way to get you onto their mailing list. It's the return exchange for getting onto the mailing list. And then through the mailing list, they continue giving you free types of things. And the idea is to build this feeling of reciprocity, and you're also building authority by having the information be good. And but still, the whole idea is to get something coming back. The point is down the road, and we all know it is to get your business and have a payback kind of implied in there. Even if it's not implied, it's kind of built in because of our psychology, the reciprocity effect. And it's really hard to get away from that feeling. But what about just doing stuff for free that has no strings attached? I mean, people doing stuff for free has no strings attached, nothing, no expectations of return, even a refusal to accept a reciprocity thing. Somebody wants it, is oh, I owe you, and you go, oh, you don't owe me a thing. I mean, how many times have you had to say that? Oh, don't be silly. You don't owe me a thing. Don't even think of it. Of course, it's another nice part about human nature is that there is a side to us that likes to help a neighbor. They get their car stuck in the snow or something, and you help them push it out, or they need a hand lifting something, you help them out. Someone needs help getting a sofa up the stairs or lifting something, for a guy anyway, you help them lift it and carry it around. Well, women, of course, too. You're always helping people. And so the whole idea of just helping with no strings attached, is huge. And now that you got the internet, and you see this a lot on Google Plus, and you see it somewhat on Facebook, especially in the communities. I suppose you're seeing it on Twitter, too, to a certain degree. But the whole idea of helping friends out, that you've made new friends on the internet and you help them out, or you're helping out total strangers. You happen upon somebody's question in a forum or something, and you know the answer and you know how to do it, and so you volunteer the assistance, the information that they're looking for, and that kind of brings this whole big new free thing that's happening. That's I think is really going to be kind of a paradigm shift for a lot of institutions, and even governments, but institutions, a lot of institutions that rely on selling information. Yes, when you sell information, you've guaranteed that it's got a lot of tons of authority behind it, tons of authenticity, and facts have been checked and all this kind of stuff. But now there's so much information for free available on the internet, and it was every teacher, being a former professor myself, has told their students, don't trust everything you find on the internet because there's so much hokum and people just talking through their hat, and the people that don't really know what they're talking about, offering advice. But there's so much now valid information, and there's so many new filters that have helped us break down where the better information is. and checks and balances. And when you see like through forums and through like Google Plus communities and Facebook communities, when you see people helping each other to share a common interest, where now you've got a gathering of people that have shared a common interest, that usually also means a shared body of expertise has been starting to grow and grow and grow. And so it starts becoming a new kind of a shift that I'd like to see amplified and encouraged by our governments, and I think it's warily going to be even encouraged by the educational institutions. You know, everybody knows that old line: give somebody a fish and they eat for a day, but teach a person how to fish and they eat for a lifetime. So I think that's kind of what's happening. People are not only teaching people, how to catch the fish, but they're teaching people how to find the information on how to catch the fish. So maybe, yeah, I don't know how to catch a fish myself, but I sure know some good research tools or a good place you can go or a good community. That's all they talk about is catching fish. And so this kind of helpfulness thing, I think, is growing, and I think it's a free help. It's got no strings attached. People aren't looking for a return. I think it's going to kind of make a big change in the way a lot of this internet marketing stuff is done, perhaps. At least it's going to pressure internet marketers to package their stuff better and better and add a lot more value, because now the added value of just the freely available information, the freely available forums is huge. So anyway, now naturally, I think this is going to bleed over. It's going to wind up affecting our economies, our economics, and how things that are actual material things are affected. How people get rid of stuff they don't need anymore, for instance, a bartering type of thing. Way back in the 70s, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, an outfit opened up that was a classified ad, printed newspaper thing. I was a street musician at the time, playing in Central Square, and played every day from noon to 5 in Central Square, and I played at night too in Harvard Square from 9 to midnight. And I did this 8-hour-a-day thing every single day. But I heard about this outfit that was starting this new newspaper, and it was called Everything for Everybody. Okay? Everything for Everybody. And the philosophy, this is back in 1978 or 79, the idea was that people would advertise stuff that they didn't need, and it would encourage barter systems, and that they provided a mailbox, like the classified box, post box type of system, so people could get in touch with each other anonymously and protect their security, and offer up things to barter for the things that were advertised in the paper that people wanted to barter. And so it was encouraging barter. Well, I just jumped on this thing like crazy. I couldn't believe it. I just had to be a newspaper guy for this. And I was a newspaper boy when I was a kid. But man, I went to them and I said, look, give me $2 worth. This is out of my change I'm making from playing flukes. That's what I did for a living back then. I said, give me $2 worth. They were only a quarter a piece or something. And this was just so I could have the opportunity to stand in Central Square and in between playing flute, holler out at the top of my lungs as loud as possible, everything for everybody, bellowing out into Central Square. And oh yes, everybody had my name down for that. There's that crazy flute player hollering everything for everybody. But I always got rid of all the copies of their little classified ad newspaper. But still, that's an idea that was way too early for its time, and the paper didn't last. They tried valiantly for months, but it eventually folded. It was a great idea, though, and so I didn't get to yell everything for everybody anymore. But nonetheless, I think that this kind of an idea of what people do now, going beyond information exchange and starting to get into internet supported systems for other types of exchange, is going to be bigger, and there are some internet projects that are already in place. I'll find out if I can. I'll find out what they are again. I hardly remember them, and they're probably buried somewhere deep in bookmarks. Well, I'll see if I can find out where those exchanges are still happening. I'll post them in the show notes for today's show. But anyway, so there's my my speculation, a little bit of a rant because I don't. It kind of bugs me, the whole idea of all the free being always exploited for the reciprocity effect. I'd like to see it be purified and go into a better realm. But I'm also celebrating that the free exchange of information is already, to me, paving the way and setting up what's going to become an exciting new paradigm. And it's going to be kind of a challenge for a lot of people to deal with who are used to, you know, making money off of selling the same stuff or something. I don't think it'll go away, though. People will always make money. All right, so that's tonight's show, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Good night.